Today I'm breaking down the differences between the Roland TD30kv versus the Roland TD50kv. That's coming up. What's up? Justin here. Welcome to 65 Drums, the place to keep on top of all things electronic drum related. Today I'm comparing these two flagships from Roland. A lot of people want to know, is it worth spending the extra money to buy the TD50kv version versus the TD30? I mean, they skipped the whole TD40, so obviously the TD50 is this humongous advancement. Or is it? That's what I'm breaking down today. Let's look at the specs first, and then I'm going to talk about playability, what it's like to play both of them, and what are the big advantages and disadvantages going both ways. Alright, so the Roland TD50kv comes with a 10-inch high tom, two 12-inch floor toms, a 14-inch snare, a 14-inch kick drum, an 18-inch ride cymbal, a 14-inch crash cymbal, another 15-inch crash cymbal, and a 12-inch set of hi-hats. The TD30kv comes with two 10-inch high toms, two 12-inch floor toms, a 12-inch snare, a 14-inch kick drum, a 15-inch ride, two 14-inch crash cymbals, and a set of 12-inch hi-hats. So you can see some differences right off the bat between both of these sets. There's the missing high tom on the Roland TD50kv. The reason for that is that modern drummers play that one up, two down tom setup. Like, a lot of people don't even play two high toms anymore. That's just what modern drummers are doing. A lot of people don't care about what modern drummers are doing, and they want that second high tom, especially if they're gonna spend $7,000 plus bucks. And I really don't blame them. I feel like Roland should have at least included that pad and just use it as an extra side snare. So they could have this really cool photo op, they're still giving you the same amount of pads, and they really should, because you're spending more money. The second big difference you can see right away is that there's no glossy finish on those new cymbals. And the reason for that's pretty simple. It wears away. They tried it on the TD20SX, they tried it on the Roland TD30kv, and they both looked awesome until the stuff on top of it started wearing away. You can see this on eBay listings. Just go look up those glossy cymbals, and eventually you'll find some where the gloss is just wearing away after lots of use. Roland decided to get rid of that and go back to that matte black look. You'll also see this on the Alesis Strike Pro and the Alesis Strike. Remember when they were first announced at that NAMM showing and they had those glossy cymbals? It looked amazing for the photo ops and the YouTube videos, and then they quietly dropped it and didn't even mention it. And of course, the reason for that's got to be that it wears off, and Alesis found out that in lab testing. But it looked really cool for the unveiling photos, so it worked out anyway. So that's why that's missing. But I will have to say, it would have given the TD50kv a lot of stage presence. I wish that it had the glossy finish. That's just me. When I sat down to play this at a music store, man, it just didn't have that visual bite to it, you know what I mean? It just didn't look quite as cool, and especially when you've got lights shining on it, the TD30kv really shines, literally on stage. So that's one thing going in favor of the Roland TD30kv, it just looks slightly cooler. Now both of them have nearly the same tom pads, nearly the same hi-hats, nearly the same crash cymbals, and nearly the same kick drums. There's one cymbal on the Roland TD50kv that's larger. One of those crash cymbals is a 15-inch versus a 14-inch. And then, of course, you've got the main differences: the ride cymbal, the snare, and the drum modules. First off, let's talk about the ride cymbals. On the Roland TD30kv, you got that 15-inch ride cymbal, and it's okay. It works. But again, it's a 15-inch ride cymbal on a very expensive drum set, and electronic drums need to have larger ride cymbals on the very high-end lines. And the Roland TD50kv does have that 18-inch ride cymbal. Now, the only unfortunate thing about it is that it has a USB connection, meaning you can only ever use it with the Roland TD50 drum module. You can't buy this separately and spice up your Roland TD30 drum module, which a lot of people wanted to do. I have people asking me, hey Justin, can I buy that new Roland ride cymbal with my Roland TD20? And I'm like, no, you can't, because it's a USB connection. Same thing for the snare. But the good thing about using USB is they could cram a lot of sensors into both of those pads. If you want to learn more, I was a little more detailed in my Roland TD50K and KV first impression videos. I'll try to link some of those down in the description below. But they're very, very good. They've got advanced features. They're just more sensitive than your regular analog pad. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Meanwhile, over on the Roland TD30kv, you got that 12-inch snare drum, and you got that 15-inch ride cymbal. And remember, the TD50kv has a 15-inch crash cymbal. This one has that as the ride cymbal. So that's kind of, you know, I mean, it feels like a step down. If you play both of those side by side, you'll notice that it just feels a little bit smaller because the sizes are smaller and it's not going to be quite as responsive. I love Roland cymbals, but the roll and ride cymbal, like the one I have behind me and the one on the Roland TD30kv, especially with the bell zone, it just isn't quite as good as this new digital ride cymbal from Roland, which I think is the best cymbal I've ever played on an electronic drum set. Let's talk about the drum modules for a second. The TD50 does sound better, obviously, because it's newer. It's got better tech inside of it. You can insert samples finally. It has XLR outputs on the back of it that are balanced, so you never have to use a direct box again. It's got multiple headphone jacks on the front of it, so you can use it with 1/4" and 1/8" connections. There's a lot of in-module things that you can do that the Roland TD30 can't do. But when all is said and done, the TD50kv does not replace drum software. If you still want to get the best sound out there, you're still going to have to use drum software. And the TD50, yeah, it's not a huge advancement over the Roland TD30 as far as sound quality goes. It definitely sounds better. I've played a Roland TD30 since 2013, and I've played the Roland TD50 drum module like about 8 times now. And the TD50 definitely sounds better, but it's not going to be quite as good as the Mimic. And one of the big selling points of all Roland drum sets, as long as you're buying the current Roland flagship, you're always supposed to have the #1 best drum module in the entire world. And this time, you don't have that calling card. When I bought the Roland TD30kv drum set, I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I got the best drum module in the world for another year or two until the next drum set comes out. And that was kind of like this point of pride for me. I was like, oh yeah, I've got the best. And this time, if you buy the Roland TD50kv, you're getting the second best drum module in the world. So that's just something to think about. There's only 3 things that separate both of these drum sets because they're using nearly identical pads. Like the kick drum's pretty much the same, the hi-hat's nearly the same, the crash cymbals are nearly the same, the drum racks are nearly the same. The drum rack on the TD50kv is slightly higher, so you can use a 22-inch bass drum with it, which is a nice upgrade. The real big things between both of these drum sets, the real big upgrades, are the ride cymbal, the snare drum, and the drum module. And you can buy those as a package separately if you want to upgrade your Roland TD30kv later on. The Roland TD50kv is great if money is no option. And there are plenty of guys out there where money is no option. They can spend the price of a used car on a drum set, no big deal. There are plenty of people out there like that. But there's a lot more people out there where money really is a determining factor. So for most people, the Roland TD30kv is just the better option to go because you're getting nearly the same sizes. You're getting a smaller snare and a smaller ride cymbal, and one of the crash cymbals is an inch smaller. But you're getting that extra high tom, you're getting that glossy finish, you're getting a drum module that's still decent. The Roland TD30 is still a very decent drum module. You got a very nice onstage presence. As long as you're using it with drum software, both of these drum sets really aren't that different from each other. It's just the ride cymbal, the snare, and the drum module. That's the only difference between both of these drum sets. You're gonna have to play the TD50K or KV drum set and decide if that's really a big enough factor for you to switch to the TD50KV. But if you have money lying around, obviously the TD50KV is the better drum set. Just wanted to break down some of these differences here for people that were wondering. A lot of people are searching on Google right now, TD30KV versus the Roland TD50KV, and hopefully this video addresses some of the pros and cons of both of them. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. If you had the money and could choose, let me know which one you would buy. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in a few.